Here are the top 3 reasons why I recommend a robotic gastric bypass for a lot of my patients. There's better weight loss with a gastric bypass. Patients who have a bypass tend to lose anywhere between 30 to 35% of their total body weight, and sometimes even more. With the sleeve gastrectomy, it's typically between 20 to 30% of total body weight, so the bypass has better results. Number 2, with the gastric bypass, there's a higher chance of resolution or improvement in obesity-related comorbidities, like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. There's more weight loss, there's a higher chance that these conditions can be cured after surgery. Number 3, there's a lower risk of regaining the weight that you lost with the gastric bypass versus a sleeve gastrectomy. Weight regain is a big issue when it comes to bariatric surgery, and with a sleeve gastrectomy, up to 30% of patients can regain the weight that they lost. The risk is much lower with the gastric bypass because with the bypass, not only are we reducing the size of the stomach, but we're also rerouting the intestines, so you absorb less of the foods that you eat. There's better weight loss, and there's also a lower chance of regaining the weight that you lost.
Hey y'all, I've been wanting to talk about something that I get a lot of questions for, and we're going to talk about gastric bypass versus the gastric sleeve and why I personally chose the gastric bypass over the sleeve. So the gastric sleeve is when they remove a portion of your stomach, and your stomach is like in the shape of a banana or a sleeve, and that's why it's named that way. Now for the gastric bypass, this is when they create a small gastric pouch inside and they connect your intestine to it to reroute it to your bowels. So everything that you're eating is going automatically to your bowels now. If you have really bad acid reflux, the sleeve isn't for you. Something with that surgery and how it's done, it will increase your acid reflux and you will be miserable. So that's why they tell patients that have acid reflux to do the gastric bypass. They do give you this test like in a lot of your pre-op appointments with things that you have to get done where you have to stand behind this x-ray, and they give you like this thick white chalky liquid to drink, and the doctor is watching you drink it and watching it going down and seeing what it does in that test. They can see if you have acid reflux or not, and then that will determine what surgery you can get. Now, when I got that test done, it came back that I didn't have acid reflux, so I got to choose which one that I wanted. And I did my own research before I even, started kind of considering weight loss surgery seriously. And I've known a couple of people who've actually gotten the sleeve. And so I talked to them to see how their experience was. And a lot of people that I talked to gained damn near all their weight back that they had lost, and is just having a really hard time maintaining their weight loss. So that was definitely a red flag for me, and I said I don't want to go through this whole process and put myself through this to gain weight back and some. Another thing that kind of freaked me out about the sleeve was that I wasn't really comfortable with someone taking out a lot of my stomach. I don't know, it just freaked me out. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have success from having a sleeve, because there is a lot of people out there who have had success, but I have noticed that it's even, you can see the data and stuff, but gastric bypass patients lose more weight at a faster rate than people who have the sleeve. It takes the weight a little bit longer to come off, and it seems like they have a little bit more harder time maintaining it. With gastric bypass patients, we are very sensitive to a lot of things in the beginning, so a lot of stuff we stay away from, which I feel like really helps with our weight loss. And people that have the sleeve, I've noticed that they can tolerate more things. For example, if I can only get down a small coffee from Starbucks, of course, over hours, and I talked to somebody who got the sleeve and they can, get down a medium or a large in a way shorter amount of time than I can. You know what I mean? That just tells you right there. But yeah, that's personally why I chose the gastric bypass. After talking to my surgeon and hearing everything that she had to say and doing my own research and talking to other people, I just felt better with the gastric bypass. I felt more comfortable with the actual procedure, and very happy with my results. I don't know if I would have got the same results if I would have did the sleeve, probably, but I don't know. The thing about the gastric bypass, there are a lot more complications that can happen with this surgery than the sleeve. For example, people who have gastric sleeve, they don't really experience dumping syndrome because their food isn't being rerouted to their bowels. They're still going through the normal
A gastric sleeve and gastric bypass are both tools, not magic tricks. One simply makes your stomach smaller, like turning a large backpack into a tiny purse. The other, it shrinks the stomach and reroutes your intestines like a full GPS reconfiguration. Same destination, weight loss, but very different roads. And those roads come with receipts.
Over the gastric bypass surgery. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jessica. I had gastric sleeve surgery 10 months ago and I've lost 110 pounds. I create high protein recipes and videos to help you lose more weight after weight loss surgery, so hit the follow button. Now, when I first started my journey back in September 2022, I was actually very set on getting the gastric bypass surgery. That's the surgery I want. There's some really great benefits. For example, gastric bypass patients tend to lose more weight and they tend to lose it faster. But once I actually talked to my surgeon, we realized together that the gastric sleeve surgery was probably the better surgery for me. Now, everyone's different. I didn't have any pre-existing conditions. You should definitely know that because that was a big factor. For one, I was pretty worried about getting loose skin. Now, nearly everyone gets loose skin of some kind on their weight loss journey, and it's very common. But with gastric bypass, because you tend to lose more weight and you lose it faster, you are more likely to have loose skin. Number two, you're a lot more prone to dumping syndrome with gastric bypass than gastric sleeve surgery. If you've ever had dumping syndrome, you know it is an absolute nightmare. Number three, I'm pretty young, I'm 31, and my doctor felt like gastric sleeve was a big reason why to do that one. Number four, if you get gastric bypass, you're at a greater risk for malnutrition. You have to take a lot more vitamins than gastric sleeve. If you want to learn more about weight loss surgery.
So I received a comment on why I had selected or chosen the bypass versus the sleeve, and honestly, this is just based on my experience, my research, my consultation with my surgeon. I highly suggest for you all to do your research, and due to my medical history, I selected the bypass versus the sleeve. And this comes from months and months and months of research. I actually was wanting to do the sleeve. I was set on the sleeve, and until I met with my surgeon here in the state that I live, when he suggested why I had selected the sleeve and if I knew anything about the bypass. At that time, I did not know much about the bypass. I knew everything mostly about the sleeve, but I was not done with any depth research on the bypass. He advised me that he would do whichever one I had selected, but it was also based on one exam that I needed, which was the endoscopy. He suggested if the endoscopy results were negative to some kind of like bacteria in my stomach, then we had to do the bypass. If I didn't have anything, then I can obviously, of course, go with the sleeve. I did not need to do the endoscopy because I already had one of my insurance didn't approve it, and second, I already had one done, like the images one. So they looked at the images and everything was right, so I could have gone either to sleeve or the bypass, but due to other medical issues that I have, the bypass is better for me. But like I said, I would just continue doing your research. I still do research every day. I still ask. I have friends, co-workers that have done both types of surgeries. I look at all your videos on TikTok for.
Because yes, bypass often leads to more weight loss and better improvement in things like diabetes and blood pressure. But the trade-off, your body doesn't absorb things the same way anymore, which sounds fine until you realize less absorption also includes vitamins, iron, sometimes your patience.
Here's my top 3 reasons why I decided to get gastric sleeve instead of the bypass. Let's get into it. First off, let me just say this is not medical advice. Please, please, please do your own research to figure out what surgery is going to be best for you, because what happens to be best for me may not be best for you. Reason number one is because I just really didn't feel that comfortable with them completely rerouting my anatomy inside. I feel like we work good inside how we are, so I don't know, that just made me a little bit uncomfortable. Plus, when I was doing research, I was feeling like I was seeing more complications happening with people who got the bypass rather than the sleeve. So that also kind of led to my decision why I was going to choose the sleeve instead. I already had the idea in mind that I was going to do the sleeve. I was talking to my doctor about it, and he actually told me that if I planned on having kids in the future, that he also recommends that I do the sleeve, because with the bypass, you just become a little bit more malnourished with the bypass and pregnancy at the same time versus the sleeve and pregnancy at the same time. Reason number three, I did see people were losing a crazy amount of weight with the bypass. However, I felt like I would be good with the amount of weight I would lose with the sleeve. I'm gonna be super happy with losing like 100 pounds. So I know that is very achievable with the sleeve. So I didn't feel like I really necessarily need to go the bypass route. That's ultimately why, those top three reasons why I decided to get the sleeve versus the bypass. Again, this is not medical advice, and I'm not trying to say the bypass is a bad surgery. I'm not trying to say that at all. Just continue to do your own research. I know friends that have gotten the bypass and they're doing completely fine. They are doing so great. So I'm not trying to talk you one way or the other, but I guess there's going to be pros and cons to everything. So just see what you're looking for. How much weight are you trying to lose? Do you plan on getting pregnant? Just figure all of that stuff out while you're doing your research. Talk to your doctor, come up with a decision. And no matter what, I think the ultimate goal is to just become healthier and be the best version of you. And either surgery is going to help you achieve that. Those are the top three reasons why I decided to get the sleeve versus the bypass. I hope this helps you. If you have gotten the surgery, the sleeve, or the bypass, comment down below why you chose to do the surgery that you did so we can help this.
I am 4 years post-op gastric sleeve and 2 years post-op loose skin removal. I had a tummy tuck done, and here's what I would tell you about gastric sleeve procedure, weight loss surgery in general, hair loss. Okay, I get this question a lot. Did I experience hair loss in my journey? Absolutely, yes I did. I did not think that I was going to experience it. I don't know, I just thought I wasn't going to experience a lot of things. I was like really pushing that lucky girl syndrome the whole process. Like I was like, loose skin's not going to happen to me. Hair loss is not going to happen to me. Look at my hair. I have so much of it. Like look at, just strong. And if you see some of my befores, my hair was like, that was my identity. That was how people knew of me, this curly headed girl, and I had a lot of it. I lost half my volume. There's nothing that will humble you more than being like that and losing half your volume. It started 3 months post-op gastric sleeve, and it just started coming out large amounts, alarming large amounts. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. And you know what? You just gotta ride the wave. People are always like, what do I do? What do I do? This is what you do. Ride the wave, all right? Because if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, okay? Ain't no stopping it. That train's coming, and it's gonna happen. And you're gonna have to, work through it. Now, one thing I would say is control your controllables. If you have direction to take certain supplements, do it. Do it. Make sure that you're taking all your vitamins and supplements as you were directed. I'm not saying that's gonna fix anything or prevent anything, but just make sure that when you are, you're checking off all the things you were told to do, okay? There is no saying, oh, it's because of this, because of that. You're doing everything that you were told to do, that you can do, and that's, just keep it pushing. Now, I will tell you, being 4 years out, I have already had several rounds of hair loss like that. Now, could that be because I had, another surgical procedure afterwards? As we know, anesthesia can be pretty rough and tough. on the body, I don't know. I can't honestly tell you that. I don't know. But this most recent round that I did have, and yes, I did have a recent round of just hair coming out left and right. I went to go do my overdue blood work, okay? And I'm iron deficient. Iron deficient. That is a level that I had no issue with ever. And it explains a lot, because my doctor was like, has your hair been coming out? And I was like, you know what? Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. And she was just like, all right, get it together. I'm gonna need you to start taking this iron supplement. So she's got me on a supplement now, and we're seeing, you know, I'm seeing better progress here with my hair. But I can't, you know, honestly come on here and be like, don't worry, girl, it's gonna grow back. I don't know. We don't know. And that's the toughest part, right? Because you have to make peace with the unknown. How do you do that? You gotta have some strong faith. There's no other way around it. You gotta have that mindset for, you know, holding on to your reason why to get you through hard times like that. And I hope they don't happen to you. I really hope they don't. I came into this thinking, ain't gonna be my story. I'm not gonna be out here complaining, talking about my hair's coming out. It's not me. Not gonna happen to me. Loose skin, not gonna happen to me. Yeah, it all happened. It all happened. So, you know, you have to ride that wave. There's many options to kind of help you through that time. I tell everybody and anybody, like, there's, you know, I documented my journey. If you're new here, I documented my gastric sleeve journey for a full year on YT. Okay, link in bio for that. But I have a video on my hair and the turn that it took, and progress photos of like the progression of the hair loss and the progression of the hair growth coming back. And I can tell you, like, my hair has not grown in the same. I don't think it will ever be the same, but it's back. And this is all me. This is all me. Okay. So I'm here to tell you, like, it's possible, but also making peace with the unknown is going to be one of the toughest things that you will do. And you also have to do that when it comes time for, you know, plastic surgery. If you need to do like a tummy tuck, the loose skin removal, like all of that, you know, that time is also a time where you have to make peace with the unknown. You don't know what your outcome's going to be. Nobody can guarantee you on what your outcome's going to be. So I hope this helps. If you are, you know, stuck on this potential issue, I would tell you, and you're not, you know, you don't want to go through with the surgery because of this, I would tell you point blank, you're not ready. This ain't for you. You're not ready. If this is what's going to trip you up, baby, there are a lot of other things. And you really have to come into this with, you know, 100% knowing that this is what you want to do and why. What is your why? Because that is what is going to push you through the tough times that could possibly be your story with this journey. So anyway, I hope that helps, and just know that, like, you know, there's plenty of people in this community who know what you're going through. I had plenty of folks that I could talk to about this issue who were going through it along with me, and that's why I put such importance on this other video that I have here on my page to find your surgery buddy. Find your surgery pal. Drop your date in the comments so you can link up with somebody and have someone to go back and forth with and share. Because at the end of the day, nobody's gonna know like somebody else who's actually in the process too. And I will tell you what I did during my time of major hair loss. I wore a lot of headbands. Yeah, I bought a lot of headbands. And because a lot of my hair loss happened right up here, like I would just, this is worlds better than what it used to be. And you see it's still coming in. It's still working on coming in from this last bout of hair loss that I had. And it will humble you. It will humble you, and you just got to ride that wave and just know that, you know, have that mindset of this is temporary. This is temporary. This is temporary. And do all the things that you were told to do, you know, and That's it. That's what I would tell you. So for those of you who are always messaging me talking about what do I do, what can I do, control what you can control, and what you can't control, learn how to be at peace with what you can't control. And that is a very, very tough thing to do. But if you are going through this process, this journey, and people can say whatever they want, that this is the easy way out, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That couldn't be further from the truth. So if you are going through this journey, I already know you're a tough individual and you're going to be all right. Bye, y'all.
Now, let's talk about the stuff nobody glamorizes. Digestion after surgery, your bathroom schedule becomes unpredictable. Okay, some people are like, I went in a day or two. Others are sitting there wondering if their intestines are on vacation. And long term, your gut basically rewrites its personality.
Hi, my name's Candace. I had bariatric surgery a year and a half ago. I'm down 175 pounds. And I'm here to tell you why you may not be losing weight right now. One of the most frustrating things after having weight loss surgery is you think to yourself, okay, I had weight loss surgery. Shouldn't the pounds just be coming off? Wrong. Doesn't work that way for everybody. So if you are somebody who's struggling right now, you've hit a stall, you've hit a plateau, you don't know what's going on, I'm here to give you a little bit of advice and maybe some tricks and tips as to why you may not be losing at the current moment. Water. Water, water, water. Are you getting enough water? And I don't just mean like 1 or 2 little baby glasses. I'm talking, are you getting 60 to 80 ounces of water a day? Water is one of the most important things in this journey that you're going to experience. You have to have water. Even if you haven't had weight loss surgery and you're just on a fitness journey or a weight loss journey, you have to drink water. A good, substantial amount of it. Protein. How much protein are you getting a day? God bless you. Are you getting anywhere between 80 to 100 grams of protein a day? Well, you should be. I understand firsthand how difficult it could be to get that amount, bless you, to get that amount of protein in every day, because I struggle myself, and I'm not going to lie, 90% of the time, I do not hit my protein goals. I try really hard, but there are days that I just don't meet those goals, and that's okay. I try harder the next day. When I say protein, I don't mean that you are prioritizing protein shakes and protein bars. No, I'm talking you're getting your chicken, your fish, your beef, your cheese, your eggs, your yogurts. Get in food that's going to fill you up and keep you satisfied. Me personally, I can't stand protein shakes. I drank them religiously before surgery and right after surgery. My goodness, bless you. I can't stand protein shakes. I hardly ever drink them, but if I do, I drink the Fairlife ones. And so if you're somebody who likes protein drinks, make sure it's one that you actually like and you're not just drinking it just to drink it. Make sure you actually like it and it's giving you some satisfaction. I love protein bars. I am very picky about my protein bars, and there's only 3 brands that I will eat, but I do not only eat protein bars. I try to eat more hearty foods. Exercise. Are you getting any exercise? Are you getting enough exercise? Or are you just thinking, I had weight loss surgery, it's gonna come off? Wrong. Doesn't work that way. A huge misconception that a lot of people have is that you had surgery, you're just bound to lose the weight and get skinny. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to put forth the effort every single day, all day long. If you don't have a gym membership, that's okay. Walk around your house. Get yourself some weights. You can go to Target and Walmart. Even there's a store called Five Below, and they have weights. You can get them on Amazon. They're not super expensive. What I do sometimes is I just walk laps around my house. I have a 3-year-old, so sometimes it's not very easy for me to be able to get out and hike or go for a walk around my neighborhood, so I'll walk in my house or in my backyard. If you don't have a backyard, it's okay. Walk around your house. Go to a school and use their track or use their stairs. Do things that you like. Find a hiking trail that you love and do it 2 to 3 times a week. And you don't have to be the best at it. You're trying. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect at everything. And sleep. Are you getting enough sleep? I know I'm not. I have a 3-year-old who is not the best sleeper. He is doing better, but he's not the best. But I have read that if you do not get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night, it will affect you losing weight. So rest your body. Change your nightly routine so that way you can get your 6 to 8 hours a night. Also, have a full panel of labs done. Check your thyroid. Thyroid is a big thing for not losing weight. I have hypothyroid, meaning it does not function properly. Even after weight loss surgery, I'm still on thyroid medication. If my thyroid is not in check, even though I had weight loss surgery, I'm not going to lose weight. So make sure you get your thyroid checked because you may need medication to help you. And lastly, a support system. You have to have a support system. Whether it be your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your friends, your kids, family, neighbors, coworkers, whatever it is, you need to have a support system of somebody who's there to help you. Somebody who's there to root you on and be proud of you. And if you don't have that, you do now, because I will be your support system. You can message me day or night, any day, and I will be there for you. It may take me a little bit to get back to you, but I will be there for you because a support system is huge. I hope this helped. And if you want any more videos like this, let me know.
Why did I choose the sleeve over bypass? I don't think one is better than the other. I think you could have the same success with the bypass as a sleeve and vice versa. I just felt that I could wrap my head around reducing the size of my stomach instead of moving around my intestines. That was really the thing for me. I was scared of having surgery, period. So like the easiest, less invasive surgery, the one that is the quickest, I said that is something that I would do. If the sleeve doesn't work, at least I have that one more option. So it was kind of one of those like kind of expecting it, if it failed, this would be my backup plan. So it's honestly just what you feel comfortable with, what your doctor would suggest. I would listen to that. If I knew that I would have as much acid reflux as I have now, because I really didn't suffer from acid reflux, but I do get it occasionally now, I would have probably thought a little bit harder on getting the bypass versus the sleeve. So that is something to think about. If you do have really bad acid reflux, it could get worse or it could get better. Some people say that their acid reflux got better with the sleeve as opposed to someone like me who really didn't have it. Now I have it. Take those questions to your doctor and make that decision, informed decision with your doctor. Bye.
Okay, update. I am 4 weeks post-op of my revision from sleeve to gastric bypass, and now it is time for me to start eating solid food. And at what point does the food not just feel like it's like right here? And then, because that's when I just stop eating. I legit today only, and I know it's bad, so I don't want to hear nothing in the comments. I already know what's up. But I did drink my water. But I only ate like a yogurt today. I attempted to eat I made some scrambled eggs and some sausage at home and brought it with me to work. And I attempted to eat that, and it was like 2 bites in. And it was like, and then my stomach was like, nah. When does this stop? Because I think I'm ready to eat now. But I'm not going to complain, because at my appointment, I'm down 21 pounds. Not bad. But I can't keep going like this. Stuff's going to start falling apart real quick. So does anyone have any idea, like, when am I able to start, my body will allow me to swallow stuff and start eating again? Or is this just going to always be like this? Then I'm going to be like a stick figure. Damn.
Nobody tells you this about the gastric sleeve, the gastric bypass, the SADI, and all of those different procedures. And this is some definitely valuable information that you want to know before you consider the weight loss process.
So
Gastric sleeve is when they remove a portion of your stomach, and they remove that portion of your stomach to help you feel full fast and reduce your hunger. It also reduces your hunger hormones, and overall it slows down your eating process, and obviously you'll lose a lot of weight. And just to reference, gastric sleeve removes like majority of your stomach, so it removes a lot. So gastric bypass is not them just removing your stomach, but they're also rerouting your intestines, so you end up intaking fewer calories. That's the difference between the gastric bypass and the gastric sleeve. With the gastric sleeve, you are just, your stomach is getting removed, but your intestines, all of that is now rerouted. With the bypass, your intestines and stuff is rerouted. So not only is they remove a portion of your stomach, they also are shortening how many calories you intake. But here's the thing that they don't tell everybody. Neither one of those surgeries fixes your mindset with food. So the real question is not which surgery is better, but which surgery is your mindset ready for, your lifestyle ready for, your pockets ready for. So if you want me to break down the cost of my surgery, how the recovery was, the things I had to do to get approval, insurance, all of that, just let me know, and I definitely will go over that information with you all. And another thing that I wanted to ask y'all, have you been thinking about the surgery, or are you just researching about it? Tell me in the comments below. Have you already had the surgery? Are you thinking about the surgery, or what?
Another great question. I'm assuming you're referring to why I chose the sleeve surgery over gastric bypass surgery. Honestly, I will tell you, I have friends who have had gastric bypass, and I've seen them gain all the weight back. With the sleeve surgery, you permanently take out 80% of your stomach, and it never grows back. Like you run the risk of it stretching a little bit, and obviously you can gain weight with the sleeve surgery, but the tool's always there. It's always there. I will always only have 80% of my stomach removed and 20% left, and I will always feel that restriction. And that's not only something that happens in my body, but it's a mental thing, and it reminds me not to overeat.
If you're thinking about having gastric bypass or gastric sleeve, you're going to want to stay and watch this video. I'm Julia, and I've lost 150 pounds. I had the gastric bypass about 1 year and 3 months ago. I'm going to explain some of the differences that I've noticed between the two and just exactly what they are. So what is a gastric bypass? I mean, it's exactly that. It's a bypass. They make a small pouch in your stomach and connect that to a different part of your small intestine. So it bypasses most of your stomach and part of your small intestine. Some of the cons of this are malnutrition, which can create vitamin deficiencies, iron deficiencies, hair loss, things of that nature. But one of the pros of malabsorption is you don't absorb all of the calories that you're eating. And there is a significant decrease in the amount that you're able to eat. Now, with the gastric sleeve, they cut your stomach into a small banana shape. So your stomach is smaller and you're able to eat less, but there's not as many complications in the way of malnutrition, which means there won't be as much hair loss, there won't be as many vitamin deficiencies or things of that nature, but you are able to eat more than someone who has the gastric bypass, which means you won't lose weight as fast. So why did I choose the gastric bypass? I asked my doctor, I said, I'm not sure which one I want to have. I don't know if I want the sleeve. I don't know if I want the bypass. And he said to me, listen, you have 3 children. You have a business. You have a very full life. Are you able to commit to going to the gym 5 days a week and going home and cooking a healthy meal every day? And my answer was no. And he said, listen, I think you should get the bypass because once you start going to the gym and you start feeling better, you'll be more motivated to make healthier meals, and you'll just kind of conform to a healthier lifestyle. And that's exactly what happened. Now, just as an example, I know someone who had the gastric sleeve, and after about 5 or 6 months, she was able to eat a whole just crack an egg. So you put an egg in it, it has sausage, different stuff in it. She was able to eat one of those after 5 or 6 months. Now me, just at 1 year, 3 months post-op, I'm just now able to eat one whole just crack an egg.
So as you can see, there's like a huge significant difference in the amount that you can eat and how early or how fast after surgery you can eat it, which again means that you lose weight a lot faster having gastric bypass. So I hope this was informative.
Did you feel pressured by your surgeon to pick the sleeve over the bypass? Excuse me, y'all, I'm sick as hell, but I got some gems to drop, so hold on. I have seen time and time again surgeons pushing the sleeve over the bypass, even if the patient has acid reflux. And we all know if you have acid reflux, that sleeve is only going to make it 10 times worse. The surgeons should really be trying to push for bypass if that patient has acid reflux, because it's going to get to the point if they have that sleeve, it's going to become unbearable and just miserable for them. We get it. Surgeons like the sleeve because it's a shorter procedure. That procedure is about 40 to 70 minutes. The bypass is 90 minutes. The bypass is more complicated surgery when it comes to having to reroute the intestines, and you don't have to do that for the sleeve. And it's also known that sleeve comes with far less complications than the bypass. So of course they're going to push it because they're trying to get you in and out. If you are a patient and you have acid reflux and they are trying to push the sleeve onto you, do not do it. Stick up for yourself. Challenge them. Be like, hey, that don't make no sense. Why would you give me a sleeve if I have acid reflux? And that's just going to make it 10 times worse, which essentially is going to make more complications happen for me later down the road. It just doesn't make sense. And if you're a patient that gets to choose their surgery like I did, and you did your research and the bypass resonates more with you, you like the outcomes of the bypass, you feel like you're going to have better success with that surgery, fight for it. Let them know, hey, y'all ain't pushing nothing on me. This is the surgery I want to do. This is surgery I'm going to.
What you eat, how you eat, and even how fast you eat suddenly matters more than ever. And no one warns you about the emotional part either. Like 10 years later, a lot of people don't just say, I lost weight. They say, I learned maintenance is harder than the surgery because your stomach can be small, but habits don't shrink on their own. Then there's a list of you can never do this again normally things, at least not comfortably. Big meals, forget it. Chugging drinks like you're in a sports commercial, nope. Even certain foods start acting like enemies with hidden agendas. And yes, complications can happen. Acid reflux, nutrient deficiencies.
Hey berry community, come here, let me tell you something real quick. And this is for the people that's getting ready to have surgery. I don't know if you guys are telling people that you're getting ready to have bariatric surgery out of excitement or if you're looking for validation, but I'm here to tell you to keep it to yourself. If these are not people that you are genuinely close to, that you know going to be there to support you, lose your weight in peace, please. Because the moment you start sharing your business with Felicia and Sally at the job, baby, they're going to start treating your ass like you a damn science experiment. Especially if you've been big the whole time they knew you. They're going to want to know why you chose bariatric surgery, why you ain't try to go work out. Aren't you afraid you're going to get too skinny? They're going to tell you that you got to be on vitamins for the rest of your life. And shit, they might even convince you that you don't need it. Nothing aggravates me more than somebody telling me that I don't need something that I know I need. Like, I walked around carrying 222 pounds for 2 years. And you think anybody stopped to tell me, your back getting just a little wide? Nobody voiced a concern. But the moment you start dropping pounds, feeling yourself, wearing smaller clothes, revealing body parts that you ain't revealed in years, it's a problem. Now I'm getting treated differently. But take it from me, lose your weight in peace. Lose your weight in peace. You're going to be so much happier. You're going to be able to heal.
So I had bariatric gastric sleeve surgery in 2013. So it's been a while, but I lost like 100 pounds and I kept it off for all these years. I've actually lost more here recently, taking tirzepatide, because after having the bariatric surgery, I got pregnant. Oh, whoops. Just in a few months, and I kept my weight off during the pregnancy and didn't gain a whole lot of weight after. And then 3 years later, I had another baby and I did really well, and I kept it off for years and years and years, but I never could get down to my goal weight. And so I did the terzepatide shots over the past year and a half, and I got down to my original goal weight that I had when I had the surgery. But I'm just here to tell you, if you've had the surgery and you're on the front end of it, it's really hard. Everybody thinks it's, the easy way out. It is not. It is very difficult. It is not the easy way out at all. And let's see, 12 years later, it's still very helpful. I still cannot overeat. I don't have any problems from it. And like I said, I've kept most of my weight off for all these years. And like any of the problems that I had early on, like where you could feel the food, all of that goes away. So it does get a lot better. A lot of the problems that you have, it got better with each year. But, it still keeps me from overeating and helps me to manage my weight so that I never gained a whole lot of it back. I gained maybe 10 or 15 pounds back, but I would bounce back and forth. So I'm here to tell you that if you're on the front end of it, keep.
Good morning. Happy Monday. I was just going through my DMs from like last night, and I had a lot of people asking like if there's anything I regret, any negative like side effects to getting surgery, or anything that I wish that I could change, or like more of like the negative or not so great things about having surgery. The one thing I do regret is I regret not doing it sooner. Like, I know a lot of people say that, but I really, really wish I could have done this sooner. But as far as like the negative aspects of having the surgery, I would say are two things that I specifically notice. Water, because as much as your doctors or like nursing staff tries to educate you on like, oh, you're only going to be able to do like 8 ounces of water or 10 ounces of water or 64 ounces of water, your mind is not really like grasping that. And like for my experience, I was drinking like hundreds of ounces of water all the way up until like the day before surgery. And someone like me, I get dehydrated really fast, so I've always made it like a priority to make sure that I'm staying hydrated all of the time. And so, you're drinking all of this water, and then you go through surgery, and then you get out of surgery and you can only have like maybe a sip or two. That's really like abrupt. And you can even kind of tell like my skin is like really dry. So like I'm having to get facials more often. Like my skincare is way different. I'm adding like way more lotions and oils to my body, or like my skin as a whole, because I'm dehydrated. My lips too, it's ridiculous. It's gross. So I think that's something, if you are, if your surgery is coming up and you haven't had it yet, I would really, really, really recommend you talking with your doctor, your nurse, whoever, on what you can do to kind of prepare yourself to not be able to drink the water that you were once drinking. I kind of was just like, oh, okay, maybe, naive, I guess. Even though my doctors were telling me, you don't honestly grasp the fact until you are thirsty, and you can literally only take like a tiny sip, like that shit's hot. And that's supposed to just like hydrate you for the day. I'm exaggerating, but that's what it feels like. So I would 100% do that. The other thing that I really regret, and it might just be like a personal preference, is how my teeth feel after surgery. I don't really know, and see, my lips are like so gross and dry, but my teeth feel like not the best. I have an appointment to get my my teeth checked out, and possibly do another round of braces. because my teeth have moved. And for a while, probably like the first like month, the only way I could hydrate myself was by chewing ice. So I know I've kind of like put my teeth through the ringer with like chomping and chewing ice in my jaw. So that's something that they don't really talk about. I know that I think they mention in like the booklet on like weak teeth or like hair loss, but it's like a one-liner. It's like something that you probably would like breeze right over unless someone like actively is talking about it. So those probably are like the two things. I have not experienced the hair loss part yet. I've been trying to really, really stay on top of my protein. But I will say, just from being a hairstylist, if you are not wearing a bonnet at bedtime, or if you're just like around the house and you're not doing anything, take your hair out of the messy bun, take it out of the tight ponytail, put your hair in a bonnet. Like, you're putting your hands through your hair, oil, dirt, germs. You're not doing anything with it. And then at nighttime when you sleep, you're rubbing your head on your pillow. Get a silk pillow. There's a lot of things that you can do externally to kind of like help that. I wear extensions. I think I've mentioned that before. Like I'm always going to wear extensions. I feel like I just like thicker, fuller, longer hair. And my natural hair is not like that. My natural hair is very thin. So that's just my preference. So even if I did experience the hair loss, like I would just put extensions in because that's just my preference. That's what I like. But there are other things that you can do. I highly recommend the bonnet though. And then for, I think the last thing that I wish, I don't really regret this, but I wish, I had like a really good, list of things to purchase, either for surgery specifically or after surgery. So I just made it upon myself to make my like Amazon lists for that, or like my my mini like meal guide that kind of helped me a little bit because I couldn't find one that matched me, or like specifically to surgery, like the really comfortable like bras or stuff to wear when you're in the hospital, socks, heating pads, sleeping like on an incline, stuff like that. So I did make those myself to kind of help people. So those are all in my like link in bio. I do have TikTok shop now, which is great. So some of those items are in my TikTok shop just to make it a little bit easier. You don't have to like go out of the app. You can just do it right through the app, which is like amazing. Like my pill organizer for all of like the vitamins and prescription medication that you're going to have to take. The organizers are fantastic, so you can just like put it out through the week and then it's all set up for you. The food scale, you don't really think that you're going to need it, or portion control, cups, containers, measuring cups, all that kind of stuff you just don't really think about. So I did add all of those things. But honestly, if you're following what your doctors are recommending or your nurses are recommending, you shouldn't really have a huge problem with your process, honestly. I know there's like a couple people that are like, I'm a couple weeks out and I have a stall. Like, I can't really like comment on it because I haven't dealt with that. But I don't know that you should really be worried about stalls unless you're like, I don't know, 6 months to a year out, maybe more. Like, I feel like when you're fresh out, couple weeks, your body is like totally in like a new cycle, a new way of life that it's probably just trying to figure itself out. So I wouldn't like worry too much about that kind of stuff. Just be really patient with yourself. I honestly, I get so many DMs and comments on like, what did I do for this, or where can I find this, or where'd you buy this, or what do you think about this? I really try to answer everyone, because this is such like a major, like,
one of the biggest, wildest differences between the gastric sleeve and the gastric bypass for me, and it still blows my mind. I can finish this whole thing, not in one sitting, but I can finish this in 30 minutes and like not even blink an eye. Remember when I had the gastric sleeve, it would take me forever to drink just even 10-15 ounces of liquid because I would get full so fast. Right after I had my gastric bypass, we got it revised into the gastric bypass. I remember waking up from surgery, going home and starting to take sips of my drinks, and I was able to take like big sips. I can't chug. I won't chug any drink. And I'm like, hold on, something's wrong. I can drink regularly. I called my bariatric team and I was like, listen, I can drink liquids like no problem, and I had issues with it before gastric sleeve. What did you guys do? I'm pretty sure you didn't give me gastric bypass. And they're like, no. What's going on is with gastric bypass, the sphincter you used to have with your stomach, you don't have it anymore. Really, there's a tiny hole where liquids and foods kind of just go into every single time you eat something. So when it comes to liquids, it goes literally straight through you. So you can drink up to 12 ounces of liquid in one sitting and you'll be fine. Don't push it, because obviously you still have a really small pouch and it's not gonna like gush into your intestines or whatever. But she's like, yeah, you can easily drink up to 12 ounces of liquid in one sitting and really feel no discomfort. And that's why I always say hydration with gastric bypass is way better, way easier than with the gastric sleeve. I don't know what it was for me with the gastric sleeve that just made me not capable of drinking the amount of water that I needed to, because every time I would take 1-2 sips, I would be full immediately.
Hey y'all, it has been a while. Tomorrow is Easter. I have had a few messages come in asking me like, hello, are you alive? How has everything been? How is the surgery? Please let me know how everything is going for you. I know that some of you guys were keeping up with my journey and the things that I was posting as I was healing. I'm healing great, by the way, like mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, like everything is just getting better for me. And I love that for me because I was down bad for so long. If you're new here, my name is Caitlin. I am 31 now. I just had a baby. He is 8 months old. I had a revision from sleeve to bypass like probably 6 months ago, shortly after I gave birth to my son, who is my only child. And if you're here because you're contemplating on getting the surgery, or you've had it before and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing now, I'm gaining the weight, I just had a baby, or you're pregnant yourself right now, get it. The hell with what anybody else is saying. I would recommend it 1,000 times. And there was tons of people who were like, I don't think that it's safe to do it so quick after having a baby. To hell with them. Just because you wouldn't jump off the bridge doesn't mean I won't jump off the bridge. I live for thrill. I'm an Aries. I love this shit. So I'm glad that I did that. I feel really good. I look really good. My mental is in a really good spot. I have those days where I'm like, oh my God, you know, like the whole world feels heavy, but for the most part, I feel very good. I look at myself in the mirror and I like recognize who I am, because for so long with everything that I was going through, with the whole, my sentencing with like 40 years in prison, my lawyer, just my diet, getting pregnant, just, you know, a multitude of things. You know, life happens. I gained the weight. So I took it off again, and I would recommend it 1,000 times to whoever, and I would do it all over again if I had the chance to. I show up better for myself. I show up better for my son. I'm a better friend. I'm a better partner. I'm a better...
Could yap about my bariatric surgery forever and ever and ever, because it's probably one of the best things I've ever done for myself. But something I don't see a lot of people talking about here are the recovery processes for both gastric sleeve and gastric bypass. And lucky for you, I have had both procedures, so let's talk about it real quick. The recovery is really very similar. I think the biggest thing is mental part of it. So backtracking to when I had the gastric sleeve, June 14th of 2022, I took 2 full weeks off from work to recover. because I didn't know how I was going to feel immediately after the surgery. And at that time, I was working at Target as a lead for 2 departments, and walking was the thing. So I would be on my feet almost my entire shift. So I wanted to make sure I adjusted to that really well. I took 2 weeks off. Physically, I think by the 2nd week, I was more than ready to start working. However, I was a little bit sore around the tummy area. The gas pains lasted about 3 to 4 days. Day 3 was probably the worst because that's when your pain medication and your anesthesia is wearing off. And when pretty much everything is kind of starting to go back to normal, whatever that means after surgery. But really it was the mental game, because even though your body has changed a lot, and immediately once you start eating, that change happens right away. Mentally, you're like, okay, wait, but I want to eat more, even though physically your pouch is like, no girl, you gotta stop. The biggest adjustment. And then fast forward to November of 2024, when I had the revision to gastric bypass. The recovery for me personally was a lot longer mentally because of that little in between phase where I had the gastric bypass, but not really. I posted a video about it earlier, how it went kind of wrong and I had to wait an extra month to get it done, and I had to find a complete new surgeon. Physically, the recovery for bypass, I believe, is a lot easier, and a lot of people do say it too. And even my surgeon said it, that it's because they don't have to do that muscle stitch that they do for the gastric sleeve. So the tenderness around your tummy area doesn't last that long. Again, the gas pains were there. Unfortunately, that part just doesn't go away quickly enough, and it does happen with both recoveries. The 3rd and 4th day were the roughest ones for me, but also the anesthesia just doesn't sit right with me, so that's also another added thing. But I think I was ready to go back to work within 10 days. I took 2 full weeks off again because I didn't know what the recovery was going to be like, or if it was going to be any different than the sleeve, but they were very similar. I guess it just depends on person to person. Again, the tummy area was a bit tender and a little bit swollen because of that carbon dioxide gas that they fill you up with in order to have space to maneuver. But overall, the recovery was very easy. I had 0 complications. I was able to drink almost immediately after the surgery without feeling that pressure that I felt with the sleeve. Overall, it was a great experience with both procedures. So if you're wondering what one could be like as opposed to the other, this is your sign, and this is your reminder that even though the procedures are very similar, the recoveries can change a little bit. But I do tell you that I think the biggest part in the recovery process is going to be the mental game. So if you prepare yourself really well mentally.
Okay, so a question that I get asked all the time is, if I'm gonna have weight loss surgery, should I do the sleeve? Should I do the bypass? When I had my sleeve surgery, it was a little over a year later that I had to get a revision to my bypass, or to the bypass. And like at the beginning, it was hard to get my fluids down. I had to get, you know, some IV fluids and stuff like that. And it wasn't that bad. Then after a few months, I started to feel normal, and I was fine, and I was able to enjoy my life. Ever since I had that gastric bypass, I have had issue after issue after issue. As some people that follow my page, you guys know I've had multiple times that I've had to get emergency surgeries due to my intestines twisting and having issues with that. I finally have started to feel good and kind of back to normal after my last one, and this time is different. As you guys can see, I'm in the hospital, so of course, you know, what other reason would I be in the hospital besides my fucking guts? Well, I mean, there are other reasons that I could be, but you know what I'm saying. So I have been getting like a weird, it almost felt like a Charlie horse in my abdomen, same place all the time. And it wasn't super frequent, so I was like, maybe it's like me getting muscle because I've been more active and I've been, you know, doing a lot more stuff. It's summer, you know, it's summertime, and I'm trying to get my yard ready, and I'm doing this, and I'm working on these projects. Well, I messaged my doctor because I'm like, hey, like, I don't know if this is normal, but I want to make sure I'm not dying because this has happened to me a little too much. I get really weirded out about things in my abdomen. And he was like, come and see me. They got me an appointment for next week. Yesterday I was working on my pole, getting my pole set up and stuff, and I was laying out in the sun, and then I went to go sit up, and I was like, oh man, like it feels like a Charlie horse, and it knots up, and you can literally physically see the knot, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this hurts so bad. Usually after it passes, it's done. This time it didn't. Like, it wasn't as intense, but it still was very sore, very uncomfortable. It was hard for me to walk, so I'm like, I should probably go to the hospital just to be safe, because I've been on this road one too many times. I've had too many close calls. So they did a CT scan, and my part of my small intestine was dilated, which could mean a bowel obstruction. So they admitted me into the hospital. They said, we're going to watch, because we're not 100% sure if that's what's going on. Like, everything's still passing through. So obviously something is happening, but we're not sure what. And really the only way that we're really going to know is if we go in there and look. They were like, so we're going to put you on a liquid diet today. We're going to watch you. We're going to see how the pain goes, see if it comes back, see what ends up happening. And then after we do that, if you still have pain and we evaluate you and we're still feeling it and stuff, then we're probably going to have to go in there and we're going to have to look. And that decision is going to be made tomorrow morning. So every time I start to think that things are falling back into place and I'm going to be able to live a normal-ish life, something like this happens. And I really hope I don't have to have surgery, because recovery is really hard. It's not just the physical part, but like, your stomach is so sensitive. You have to go back to where you can hardly eat anything, and you're tired, and it's just a constant restart. And I would say, if you can have the sleeve, and hopefully you don't have any complications that you have to get a revision. I felt so much better, and I had so much smaller.
One thing that gets on my nerve is when people tell me, damn, you're 7 years out already, just let it go already. You can't just let the sleeve go, dummy. Like, this is me for life. My stomach is legit small for life, bro. For life, bro. Well, at least mine, because I haven't restretched it, or I legit take care of myself, y'all. Like, even though I'm 7 years, my portions are tiny. I know you guys see me eating all this food because I'm promoting other businesses and shit. That doesn't mean I eat the whole plate, girl. So, people need to mind their motherfucking business. If you still see me maintaining my weight, it's because I'm taking care of myself. You know what I'm saying? People are so annoying sometimes. It's like, you can never win, dude. You can never win. But you're on the other side of this phone, fatter than me, not taking care of yourself, but you're over here judging me because I'm sharing my life, even though it's still 7 years after I got my sleeve.
Hey, my name is Ariane. I got gastric bypass a year ago. I'm down 115 to 120 pounds. I kind of keep bouncing around there. And this is one thing that I share often in my journey, because I had a really great team where I got my surgery, and they really prepared me well. I wanted to do the gastric sleeve at first, and my team did what was called a Bravo test. So like, I never had issues with heartburn, never in my life. I've never noticed those things. The Bravo test is like a little chip that they suction cup to your esophagus, and you wear that. It just stays there for like 2 to 3 days, and it organically comes off, and you pass it through your stool. But what it does is it tracks constantly. So like every time I would eat or drink something, I would just hit a button, and it would test the acidic levels in my esophagus to just, see how things were going, to see if I was a good candidate for the sleeve, because they had told me it is very common to get heartburn or acid reflux with sleeve. I had never had those things, so I was like, oh, it's not going to be a big problem for me. I'm going to be able to pass this test and go on forward. That's not the case. They had gotten back to me saying that my acid reflux levels were so high that they couldn't believe that my esophagus wasn't being torn up from the acid. And I just thought it was so weird, because I never, ever suffered from those things. So my team highly suggested that I do bypass, because they knew that if I were to go get sleeve surgery, I was going to have constant issues with acid reflux, and I was going to later have to do the bypass anyway. I did not want to do 2 surgeries. I did not want to have to do this twice. It was scary enough doing it once. You know what I'm saying? So I opted to do the gastric bypass surgery. I feel that a lot of people nowadays, because it's so more common to get bariatric surgery than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, that it's more apt to go with the sleeve because it sounds, you know, a little less scary. Like they're just, okay, you're going to keep everything in its correct positioning. You're just going to, you know, cut the stomach in half instead of rerouting everything, right? Like that's what my thought was too. Genuinely, I feel like it was the best decision of my life. There are a few cons to it, you know, like, and this is not like a one size fits all. Everybody's different, but I definitely do not feel as much restriction. I think it was like 7 months post-op. The restriction honeymoon phase had already started letting up a bit, and it really, like, I had to follow my program, getting my protein first, vegetables, keeping the carbs limited, and no snacking, because slider foods are a real thing. Even with bypass, even with my pouch stomach being the size of an egg, those slider foods will go straight through you, and it is so fast and easy to gain that weight. But I just wanted to share that because I know that there's a lot of people who opt to get the sleeve over bypass because of whatever reasons to themselves. Just know, if your team doesn't offer you a Bravo test, that you could still possibly have silent reflux. I did not know I had silent reflux. I would have gotten the sleeve surgery if they wouldn't have done that test, and I would have ended up more than likely going back for a revision to bypass anyway. So just keep that in mind if you are considering getting bariatric surgery. I know it sounds scary, but like everything we do in life.
Weight regain, or just the mental game of constantly adjusting to a body that doesn't behave like it used to. But here's the twist: nobody expects going in. The biggest change isn't the stomach, it's you. Because after surgery, you don't just learn how to eat less, you learn how to listen more to hunger cues, to energy, to consequences that show up faster than they used to. So when people ask what happens after gastric bypass or sleeve, the honest answer is a lot less food, more awareness, faster results, slower digestion, and a lifetime of learning what maintenance really means. It's not easy, it's not simple, but it is real. And real doesn't come with shortcuts.
Sleeve and gastric bypass are not the same operation. The sleeve reduces stomach size, while the gastric bypass changes gastrointestinal hormones in a much more profound manner. If you have severe reflux, diabetes, or significant severe metabolic disease, the gastric bypass may be superior. But here's the thing, there's no one size fits all. Every patient is different and unique. I don't recommend procedures based on trends. I recommend based on physiology.
Comparing my gastric sleeve to gastric bypass. So when I did my gastric sleeve, it was really hard for me to drink these. Now, my water challenge was so easy and effortless. I drank every